On Tuesday, in baseball, there was a long-term deal done with Pete Alonso, who signed a 5-year, $155 million done deal with the Baltimore Orioles. Pete Alonso was a member of the Mets within minutes, a final game of the season that saw a collapse within minutes of the final game of the regular season that saw the collapse of the 3.5 month from the best team in baseball in mid-July to no postseason. Alonso has opted out of the $24 million remaining in his contract, referring to free agents. That's the report on baseball player Pete Alonso. Michigan fired their head coach. The school announced on Moore's termination for cause after international investigation found credible evidence engaged in an inappropriate relationship with a staff member which violated the university's policy. As a result, the program named Biffy Puggy the intermediate head coach effective immediately. The Michigan Wolverines finished 9-3 and 7-2, including a loss to Ohio State, with bowl in the cheesing Citrus Bowl against the Texas Longhorns looming. The interim coach will lead the team. The program is likely to begin a search for a new football head coach. Fisher is a former Michigan assistant who now leads a strong program in the Big Ten of Washington. Is that a possibility? Maybe. Also, Marcus Freeman is one of the possibilities, known as a postseason experience recruiting, streaming, which would appeal to Michigan if willing to leave his current work, which he represents a long-term. Jesse Minster, he has previously ties to see him as a candidate capable of revitalizing defense or bringing the pro-level discipline. His recent NFL experience could bring him a perspective in recruiting national questions. Jesse Minster is the Los Angeles Chargers defensive coordinator and was the Michigan Wolverines defensive coordinator from 2022 to 2023, and now is the Los Angeles Chargers defensive coordinator for 2024 with Jim Harbaugh, previously, of course, coach of Michigan. Also, Brian Kelly, a former LSU, would be the biggest name available the school could land. He knows a true thing about winning within the state. He is a bad fit in Baton Rouge, but still knows how to run a high-level program and wins games. Will need a league to play. In league play, it will be a tough sell for former Notre Dame head coach, and for blue for some though. Could Cliff Kingsbury be a candidate at Michigan? You'd have to give him the call, I would presume. Cliff Kingsbury is the Washington Commanders offensive coordinator. Those are the guys that could be hired at Michigan. That is the Michigan job that is of being hired. Friday's matchup, the Kansas Jayhawks at NC State, Raleigh, North Carolina. Tip-off 4:30, December 19th. The Kansas Jayhawks won by 20 over the Missouri Tigers last week. And the ESPN TV broadcast, Jayhawks come in 7-3 and 7-3. NC State. Darren Peterson returns. In a tough early season matchup under Bill Self coach, Kansas just beat Missouri 80-60. Strong mark, border showdown, and now looks good to stay sharp on the road against the Wolfpack. That's an undefeated at-home Wolfpack team. Kansas held dominating series at last, leading the all-time matchup 13-1. Kansas winning the last 13. Last season, KU also beat up on NC State 75-60 at Allen Fieldhouse. KU offense been productive this year, averaging about 74.6 per game, with positive scoring matches. NC State is strong at home. looks to use the crowd as advantage to challenge the Jayhawks. Bottom line, this is a good early season test for the Kansas Jayhawks, but are part of a loaded non-conference slate. That includes a game against UConn and Duke and others. A win on the road would keep KU trending upward, heading toward conference play. The Kansas State Wildcats will play Creighton Saturday, December 13th, 2 p.m. Central. Fox. Currently, the Wildcats have the edge over home. Tips at 2 p.m. Central, Saturday, December 13th, 2025. Missouri will play versus Black Corkman Sunday, December 24th, 14th, at 1 p.m. Central, Mizzou Arena. Missouri is a clear favorite. It's large margin. Has been hosting a smaller program. The spread is about 18 and 22. Larger favorites expect the exact spread doesn't have the exact spread because of these games are not so close at all. That game is set for 1 p.m. Or Thursday's matchup between the Tigers and Alabama State. The Missouri Tigers get past Alabama State, but it wasn't as easy as it was supposed to. Mizzou led at one time by 18, but Alabama State, however, got on a 9-0 run. To get it within 9, it stayed around that range. Mizzou ended up winning 85-77. Mizzou hasn't looked good in the last 3 games. Needs to get better. Jake Cruz scores 20. Mark Mitchell scores 15. Anthony Robbins scores 19. Mizzou in the win, 85-77. On Thursday Night Football, the Buccaneers were looking good at 28-14, but Baja Robinson scored to make it 28-20, the leading rusher in the NFL, but 2-point conversion was no good. To make it a 2-point game, Michael Pittman caught a catch. His butt was hit the ground and landed before his elbow, at least maybe. The play stood and nobody could tell what it was. The Buccaneers had a chance to hold onto the ball, but they couldn't do that. After a first down backed them up, a second down incompletion, and then would eventually lead to a punt. A 17-yard pass to start it, but failed way back and got it to 2nd and 28. But took a hold over on 2nd and 18. It was incomplete, but they could have declined it. But instead, they took the hold to make it 2nd and 28. And on 3rd and 28, they got 14. And on 4th and 14, Davis Stills goes over the top and finds a hole to get a 14-yard pass to get it for a first down. Another tight end, Kyle Pitts, gets a 14-yard pass again and makes it towards that way again. And then the play that made the kick good was David Stills' 21-yard pass. And as we said, the kick was good just through the left upright. It avoided curling to the left. Buccaneers' playoff chances dipped down to 55%. Falcons win 29-28. This is Sam Vaughn for Sam Sports Report.